Hey, welcome back to our podcast, Real Estate on Record, with Mike Gaddy and our producer, Stefano. And Stefano's going to do a fun one today. He's going to fire some questions, and we're just going to randomly answer them.
All right, let's go. Steve, you're up. Ready? How should I prepare my house before selling it?
Preparing your house for selling. So we have, what we do as services real estate, we have a stager that comes in for a consult. So she'll come through the whole property, then make like a written list per room, and then we follow her advice going forward. I mean, if there's any construction, stuff like that, if there's going to be detriments, and I'll give you one example, then we'll pass it to Mike. It's like, if there's any water staining that happened in the past, you got to clean that up. You got to paint it, whatever it takes. Because what happens, even if it was a past incident that happened 10 years ago and there's a water stain on the ceiling, like a toilet leaked at one point, you gotta fix that. Why? Because what the buyer's mindset is, all they see in those cavities, those floor cavities, is mold. So clean that up. This is a tip of the day.
Yeah, no, I agree with what you're saying, and I think the biggest thing is clutter. Obviously, like you said, we have a stager come through to go through all that, but I think sometimes less is more in a space, and sometimes we almost have to make it like unrealistic and make it to like some sort of showcase versus you have to see the functionality all the time, where people get stuck in that and they can't see past like what's there, right? So if you can maybe you have to take a couple end tables or whatever it is just to make the room feel bigger, I think that goes a long way.
Yeah, for sure.
And Steve, you're up. Ready? Should I order a home inspection?
Ooh, good question. Depending on the market, naturally. If you're in a hot market that we saw, like, yeah, you'd have to be very confident to buy and waive it at those times. I mean, you can do a pre-inspection in those hot times if they allowed you in. But yeah, I think in today's market, because we have conditional periods, why not? I mean, it's a $400 to $500 price tag to it, and it's a peace of mind at the end.
So this basically said it all. How much more do you want?
Maybe ask one question each. I don't know.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
So, Mike, you agree?
Of course I agree, yeah.
So, number 3, we're going to start off
Go with
Mike.
Mikey, yeah.
All right. Ready? How long will it take to sell my home?
Well, okay, so how long will it take? So it depends, again, the market. When we're looking at, 2020 to the end of 2021, early 2022, it would take you from an hour to 7 days. Looking past, as we're going from, I would say, Feb 2022 on to present day, we've increased days on market. So we've gone from 7 days to 14 days, 21 days. I think we're on average, depending on area, we're like 30, 32 days right now. So yeah, we're definitely taking much longer than we did at the high side of the market today.
Good. And next question is right for you, Steve. What is the right selling price for my home?
The right selling price?
Yeah, like they come to you and this guy sold it for 900. This guy sold it for $1.2 million. I need your help. What do you do?
It's so hard, because we don't control that, and we always want to bring our clients better news when we get in, like our appointment yesterday, and it's just like, at the height of the market, it was the condo specifically. It was like 9 and change, maybe 950 or something like that. And then now it's like 7 and change, and it's just like, I wish I had better news, but this is it. We can try. Let's put it higher. You want to see it, and then ultimately you can either terminate it or we can adjust price in the future. But ultimately, yeah, we go in pre-printed with what we think that the price is going to be, and then clients like or dislike or they don't list. They just hold the property. Right?
Do you agree?
Yeah, of course I agree, because at the end of the day, if we're not priced sharply, we're gonna just eat up the days on market and just go stale.
Yeah.
All right, Next, Mike. What's an agent's commission fee?
So typical agent commission fee in our industry is 2.5 each way. Now depends on what services and who you're working with. It could vary, but yeah. So industry standard would be 2.5 to the buying side and 2.5 to the selling side. And in this case today, I would say in the market that we're in, you don't want to cut the buying side's commission just because you want to give them any reason not to come see your house. We want to make sure, here's a full commission. You guys are coming. Let's get it done.
Mm-hmm.
Steve, are real estate prices now in 2023 negotiable?
Prices? Are they negotiable? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
So, tell me why.
Well, it's the time, right? So listen, anybody that's buying now, they've qualified through some really stringent processes. So, that means they've done something right with their finances. So these are very prudent buyers. So when they submit offers on property, and this is what I tell clients, and Michael will vouch for this. Part of the presentation is just remember when you get your first offer, we all got to take a deep breath because it's going to come in a lot lower than what we're asking right now. Even though if we're bang on with price, you guys are going to come in 7-10% below asking. And then you got to, work it up. You got to do the dance. And then at some point that music's going to, you're dancing, that music's going to stop and you got to make a decision because that's the highest you're going to get. We had a situation just recently where I won't name numbers, but it was down 100 and change, right? But ultimately it was probably going to be the highest this property is going to see in value, to be honest. But it's just based on everything that's happened around us. It just keeps getting lower and lower. And we made that analogy is what happens with market values when real estate gets expensive in Toronto, it pushes like a wave. So it's going to push the 416 to 905 to the 705. But the same thing happens when it retracts in value. So if things are coming down in value, that wave's got to retract. So that surf starts pulling back. So the first properties that are going to get affected is 705, 905, and then the 416 always holds up a lot better than the rest of the districts that we're in. So, yeah.
That's a full answer. I think it's on point,
That
right?
was over and above.
So now, here we go, Mike. Should I sell my current property before buying a new one?
100%. In this market, you have to sell first because it depends on well, I can't say 100%. Depends on your situation. If you could afford to hold both properties, no problem. You can go shop and buy whatever you want, and that's fine. But if you need to purchase, or if you need the money from the sale for your purchase, yeah, I would say 100% you have to sell first because we have to stay in front of the buyers, right? Right now, we're seeing, like, for example, Caledon, I ran the numbers yesterday. From February to December, we're down between 33 and 35%. So, like, you're hitting that target. Like, I played hockey. You're hitting a moving target. You got to be in front of that guy. You can't hit him where he is now because if you hit him where he is now, he's gonna be gone. It's gonna be behind them, right? So yeah, I would say you have to sell first.
You agree?
Yeah, for sure. I think so. Yeah, I know that some clients, they want to make sure they get their dream house first, right? I think there's a people still have that mentality, whereas they gotta find what they want and then in order to sell. But ultimately, we won't have a lack of inventory going forward. So I think the prudent thing is to sell first. Even if you had a place to kind of lay over for 1 or 2 months, 3 months, I think it'll be all the difference in the amount of money in your pocket when you got to buy after, because the prices, they're not going to stabilize. This is going to keep going down daily.
Should I do a final walkthrough with my agent, or should I just trust that everything will be okay?
That's a great question.
Yeah, that's a good one.
That's a great question, Stefano.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I take pride in my question.
And no, it was a really good question. You know what? I love this, and I usually do it the day before. And yeah, agents used to get pissed off at me in the beginning. They're like, and it's just logic, right? No one told you when you should do it because you can do it 1 month prior to closing, 2 months prior to closing. But I like to do it the day before, and I do it. Why? It's because, look, you have like 24 hours to kind of claim anything through your lawyer if there's any issues with the property. So you do it the night before. Hopefully the sellers have moved out, and now you get to see the property in its entirety. So is the floors damaged? Is the walls banged up? Is the items that were going to be fixed to the house when you agreed upon in the agreement of purchase and sale, are they still there? So you can kind of have like a checklist and go through everything and make sure. And now let's just say the fridge is missing or the fridge has been swapped, because even with the home inspection, again, to kind of go further and attach your earlier question, the home inspection will have all the pictures related to this property, even the serial numbers of the actual models of the appliances, your fridge, stove, dishwasher. So because I know we have the photos from the MLS listing, and ultimately, yeah, but let's just say they had a Samsung fridge, same fridge, but one's kind of on the way out, and this, what I mean. But you'll have a serial number through the home inspection. So ultimately, yeah, you want to make sure. And if you find like the fridge got swapped and it's not working, you notify your lawyer in the morning. And before you transfer the fund, they're gonna hold back money. So let's just say the fridge is $2,000. Lawyers will always over exaggerate the amount because they don't want to be out of pocket. So they'll probably hold back like $3,000 to $5,000 to either that fridge is repaired or replaced. So it's definitely a safety net. This is something I strongly push to all my clients. Yeah.
Mike, how many houses should I view before purchasing my dream home?
It depends. I've gone from one house to 30 houses. But I would say the average person probably views about 7 to 8 houses to kind of feel out. Like pictures are one thing, but you gotta feel it, touch it, feel it, smell it, right? Like you have to be there to understand. So I think from my experience, it's between 7 and 8 houses for that to happen.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's just, yeah, you show a few houses per neighborhood, right? You want your clients to have a feel of the area, the drive, the whole. You get a feeling, if you're driving through an area, so for sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Next question. So, Steve, what happens if I decide to back out of buying a house?
What happens?
Yeah.
I mean,
let's say I all of a sudden have a worry that maybe I'm making a wrong decision. What happens if I decide to back out of buying a house?
yeah, I mean, there's obviously a few ramifications because you signed and agreed to a contract. So, I'll give you two scenarios. One on the buying side. Let's just say you backed out of it. On a growing market, let's just say if the market was on like a huge uproar, the seller might be like, "Thank God we sold this thing like 100K less. We'll keep his deposit or half of it, and then we'll put it back on the market. We'll make more money." So it's more profitable for them. But in a declining market, obviously the seller's at risk there. So. What happens with that is if you back out, the deposit's going to be held in trust. It won't be released, and also the sellers have a right to sue you back for the amount of money they lost. So let's just say, and it's a very long process. Nobody really wants to go through this, but let's just say the sellers, these buyers didn't close on this property. The seller's got to put it back on the market, fair market value, or the price that they originally paid, or the price they originally listed at, and then ultimately, if they sell it for like 200-300K less, that seller has the right to sue for that difference. Again, if you don't have the holding power and also the reserves to kind of go through the law system, usually people just kind of back out of it. And then just for example, the house we just sold before Christmas there in Brampton, those buyers, we call it the Christmas miracle. Those buyers bought our property because those sellers didn't want to sell anymore. So those buyers were they were ready to go. They were like 30 days out. They're so happy they bought their new house, and those sellers were like, yeah, we're not selling anymore, and they pulled the plug. And you know what? Those buyers, they didn't go through any legal actions. They just wanted their deposit back, and they bought our house, which was like literally a Christmas miracle for our clients.
Wonderful. Mike, should every realtor be familiar with the neighborhood before selling or buying for their client?
Yeah, of course. You want to know where like all the major amenities are, kind of the crime rate too. You don't want to put your clients in a position where like you don't know the neighborhood and they're known for crime and mischief, right? So yeah, you definitely need to know, I would say, schools, where major amenities are, major arteries for transportation, and the like what kind of neighborhood. Is it a family friendly neighborhood? Is it a condo building with a lot of younger demographics, where if I'm showing people that are looking to downsize and retire, well, I don't want them to be in a place where there's like 10 Airbnbs and there's the partying all night, right? So yeah, you definitely need to know the area and location.
So is it important to hire a real estate agent that is full-time opposed to part-time?
In any trade, like you don't want a part-time plumber or a part-time electrician, wiring your house. So it's the concept is the same with a realtor. Like if we're on the job every day, all we do is sleep, eat, and we'll say drink. Real estate, ultimately, like you need that. We got our fingers on the pulse at all times. You understand what's happening, and we're not distracted by other things. Like if somebody has a full-time job and they're doing it on the side, it's tough, right? Like I know a lot of people got lucky through the this big boom that happened now. Like they didn't have to really think about it. They submitted offer, they just kept overpaying for things, and then they got a deal done. But now it's a little bit different. Listings will consume them to death for sure, because you got to be on top of it. You got to talk to your clients regularly, follow up with agents, get feedback. It's just we're doing like 10 times the effort right now. So you have to be definitely full time, or any seller or buyer should be hiring a full time agent.
So you already answered two of my last ones, so I'll give you, Steve, the last question of this segment. Ready?
Stefano.
It's easy,
Stefano.
but difficult.
Let's go,
Now,
Stefano.
the past 3 years has really been very difficult to pinpoint when the best time is to sell. Because last February, March showed us that, sky was the limit at that point. in your opinion, in your professional opinion, is there a best time of the year price-wise to buy a home?
What's that? Sorry. God damn it, that's a lot there, buddy.
So, in your opinion,
Yeah.
is there a best time of the year price-wise to buy a home?
In a normal market or this market?
In the current market that we're sitting in now.
No, there's no timing. So right now, if you're looking to buy and you're forced not to buy, you wait. You wait a year at
What
least.
about, okay, so
Yeah.
so let me revise that then. What about if you can't wait? If you had to say, look, if let's
But what's the
put
circumstances? And I'll tell you if you can wait or not.
10 years ago, an agent could tell you, look, if you sell between this time and this time, you're
You're
going to
saying
get probably the best.
seasonal market. There were seasonal markets like
So-
spring and
But
fall.
it
were
used to
better.
be like that. It was difficult to sell in the winter, much more easier to sell in the summer. At least that's how my dad used to say when he bought a house.
There was no. So I think that's all fictitious. Like, cause look, even this year I did my Instagram video. And even a lady reached out. She was listed with another agent. She's like, "Thank you so much for your video. I took your advice and we sold during Christmas." And
Now, did you advise her of that?
on Instagram, she watched my video and she thanked me for giving her that advice indirectly. She literally, I could show you the text. Like,
So can you tell me, or is there no such thing as price-wise?
So look. The rule of thumb is list your home with the least amount of inventory and buy when there's the most amount of inventory. Supply and demand, economics 101. That's it. Whatever you find that like the fluctuation is when you should do your business, if it's a buying or you're selling. Because what happens is people say, "Well, I'm making more money in the spring." But if you're let's just say theoretically like just for numbers like 2000 was 1 year. If the market keeps going, 2001 to 2002 is like this. So sure, it's gonna be you're gonna make more money in May, but you also bought for more money. You know what I'm saying? Or you sold for more money in May, but you bought for more money. People don't understand that. It's not like seasons are all independent. It's a continual climb. Obviously, the market keeps climbing. So sure, you're gonna make money in the spring. But what about if you went from selling in Christmas and you reverse it into spring? How much would you have lost?
So it's
If
all
you
a
didn't sell in
numbers
Christmas?
thing now,
You look at your inventory. This is why I'm very like number-based, data-driven. If you see my mornings with Steve on Instagram, it's always about that. That's my first concept. What's the current inventory? This tells me the flow, if it's ebbing or if it's flowing. That's the ebb and flow of a market.
All right.
Hey guys, thanks for tuning in. If you like these videos, please like, share, and subscribe. If you have any questions that want to be answered, I mean, this is a fun segment. We had some fun here. You know, leave comments below, and we'll definitely get them on the next segment. And that's it. And these are our platforms we'll be live on. So have a great day. And Mike, anything with you want to send these guys off?
Thanks for watching, guys, and we'll catch you on the next one.
Awesome.
Yeah.